If you're watching this video and you're anything like me, chances are you own or have brought some camera gear that you don't actually use that often. I don't even want to think about some of the bits and pieces of gear I've wasted money on over the years, especially when I was getting started. But it is an easy trap to fall into. I know when I was getting started as this aspiring photographer, I always carried too much gear, thinking I needed anything and everything to get better at photography. But over time, you do realize that less is more and allow you to just focus on what matters, and that's taking good photos. So why make a video on camera accessories? Well, for anyone who's getting started or just wants to know what's actually useful as a photographer, I've selected a few really essential items. Ones that don't just sit in the cupboard collecting dust, ones that I'm using frequently and are really essential to what I do. If you do want to check out any of these items in more detail, pop some links down in the description, but let's jump in. First off is a good camera strap. Sounds simple, but this really is an essential one for me. And that's because the style of photography I like to shoot, walking around, it's really important to have my camera out on me, somewhere on my body, ready to go at any moment. Not just in a camera bag where I might pick it out later, but having it somewhere ready to pick up at any moment to snap a photo. Having your camera out like this really is a totally different mindset to having it stored away in your bag. It means you're both mentally and physically ready to take a photo at any time. That's why for me, having a good strap is so important. Which strap will probably depend on the camera you're using, its size and weight, and just what you find comfortable to carry. I really prefer the longer over the shoulder type straps. I also really like having one that I can quickly remove from my camera if I need to, like when placing it on a tripod, which is why I'm currently using this one from Peak Design. It's called the Slide Light. I believe this is a pretty new colorway, which I really dig as well. If your camera is a little bit lighter, I also really like a cuff or wrist strap. So I also have this one from Peak Design in the same colorway, perfect for a lighter setup, ensuring your camera is always out but still secured to you. If you're not a big fan of camera straps, another great option here so your camera is always out at the ready is something like a capture clip, which if I'm carrying a backpack, I often still use this as an extra option as well. Next up, the smallest bag possible. Yes, I say smallest, and this has changed a lot for me over the years, but now I always think it's a good idea to go for the smallest bag possible. I honestly used to think the opposite, always going for the biggest possible bag and putting absolutely everything in it just in case. But when you go for a smaller bag, this makes you really only pack those essentials and you think hard about what you actually need. I also find carrying a sling like this just far more comfortable. I can stay out shooting for far longer without getting fatigued and without needing to carry a heavy bag around. I'm honestly not even bothered if my camera doesn't fit inside the sling bag. Like I talked about earlier, it just means my camera is going to be out on my body ready to go, which is a good thing. As long as you have a nice comfortable and secure strap, you're good to go. I have tried a couple of sling bags, but this Peak Design one is what I'm currently using, which I find the perfect size and should be made to last as well. Next is having a quality filter set. This is something I always like to have on me pretty much most of the time, but it may depend on the type of photography you're doing and also if you're doing any video as well. For me, having an easy to use and versatile filter set is really important. For photography, I love using a mist type filter, especially in bright sunny conditions. I also use ND filters a lot for video situations and occasionally for photography as well. For others, this could even be polarizer filters or whatever you frequently use. So for me, I basically want the most convenient setup that allows me to use both mist and NDs in combination or on their own and across all my lenses. So the Nisi set is what I found works best and is a really great quality as well. I carry the mist and the variable ND pretty much all the time and some step-up rings, which is what allows me to use this on all my lenses. They come in this case for general storage, but often I'll slide these inside my sling bag in this tablet section or on a lens ready to go. If you're unsure how this system works as a whole, I've got a dedicated video on it, so you can check that out somewhere up here if you're interested. Next, we have good, reliable storage options. This one probably goes without saying, but having both fast and reliable storage options is really important as a photographer. For SD cards and CF Express cards, I mostly use SanDisk, but whatever you choose, remember, you really want these to last and serve you well. Some things it's fine to go cheap on, but storage is not one of those things. For my hard drives, I really like the Samsung T7, so I use a lot of them for my editing and backing up files. I also recently picked up this 1TB SD card for my R5. Might seem overkill for some, but I find it great, especially on long trips. It means I don't have to wipe the SD card straight away after I've transferred it to my hard drive, so essentially I've got that extra backup there as well. Next, a solid but lightweight tripod. So this is one I don't always have on me, but it's something I still use a lot, and it's something that I'll always take away when I'm traveling. Whether for video, time lapses, longer exposures, or whatever it may be, having a decent tripod, which is also as light as possible, is always a key for me. Again, this might depend on your needs and the type of photography you're into, but for most people, you'll need a tripod at some stage. I'm mostly using this lightweight carbon fiber one from Ulanzi, which I've had for a long time now and it hasn't failed me yet. If you need a slightly cheaper option, this SmallRig one is also great for its price. Slightly longer when folded up, but still a nice budget-friendly lightweight option. Next up, having a second camera. This is something I also find really important for what I do, and it doesn't mean you have to carry a second larger camera body. It can be really small. If you need something for extra video or extra stills, I'll provide a few options here. Firstly, this can just be your phone. I use the Galaxy S24 Ultra, which means I always have a range of versatile focal lengths in my pocket ready to go. Easy to use and also capable of grabbing really great video footage. But if you're someone who creates a lot of videos, especially more in a vlog style, honestly, carrying this little thing is super valuable to me, the Osmo Pocket 3. Honestly, having such a small setup that you can slide in your pocket, slide into your camera bag without adding much weight really is amazing. The footage comes out really nice for its size and is super easy for anyone to use. A small but practical mic. So that brings me on to this next one, and although I titled this video around photography gear, I think more and more people are doing bits of video as well, so that's why having a small but versatile mic is really important as well. I'm now taking this instead of a larger on-camera mic, again, saving heaps of weight and space, and it works with both the Osmo and my camera when adding the receiver in, so it's the perfect travel accessory for me, and I can use it for these talking head videos when I'm traveling as well, which I have done in the past. Lastly, a battery pack. Now this is one I use all the time when I'm traveling, but I don't actually use much ever at home, so it probably depends on your needs. The one I have is actually quite large but super useful as it will last a while, and I can get a bit of charge for my laptop out of it as well. USB-C charging is great because it covers almost everything I mentioned in this video: my mic, my Osmo, my phone, perhaps even your camera, which means if you're heading out for a long day of shooting, it really is going to be worthwhile for you, and perhaps even help save some money on extra batteries. And well, that's about it. Pretty no-nonsense items I use all the time and that I couldn't create everything I do without them. So I hope you did find this one useful. I'll pop those links down in the description if you want to check any of these items out. If you think I left any items out of this video, please let me know in the comments. But for now, keep on creating and keep on growing, my friends. Catch you in the next one. Bye for now.